This is a review of the IBUS 75 midterm exam, which is a take-home exam. You download it, answer it, research. It's all right. Somebody was trying to get in here. You research it, you answer the questions, and you send it back in. It's a take-home exam. One of the things we talked about is logistics, relevancy to supply chain and marketing. There's also, you'll notice to my left, that is my license, U.S. Coast Guard license as a merchant mariner to pilot those big ships down at the harbor. And so 2, 3, 4 are all questions about that. Actually, question number 5 is about that. So let's go to number 2. The question is, are there more U.S. flag merchant ships today? In other words, merchant ships that carry a U.S. flag registered in the U.S. that requires a U.S. crew like somebody like me. You're going to have to look that up. Second one's easy enough to research. One of my son's complaints is that I've had a chance to travel all over the world and be paid to do it, and he hasn't been able to go to as many places as I have and be paid to do it, and my response was join the Merchant Marine. There's a video on the website with Jacobson Pilot Service, and there's a ladder that the pilot climbs up from the pilot boat onto the ship. You're going to want to look up what that ladder's called. The ILWU is the labor force in LA Long Beach Harbor, the Longshore Union, that controls all the labor and the cost of labor. There's a question as to whether or not it creates a competitive advantage. It's a stable workforce, but it's also the highest cost labor force in the United States. So you'd have to do some research as to whether that's helpful or not. Trade agreements like NAFTA, Trans-Pacific Partnership, are they typically supported by labor unions? You might want to look into that. Most economists believe the trade agreements are good for the economy. This economist believes the trade agreements are good for the economy. The big super ocean container ships have different classes. It's like a 747 airplane or a DC-10 or an A300. Well, ships have classes too. And one of the classes of the really big ships, an E-class ship, you're going to want to look up how many containers it carries. Number 11 is pretty straightforward. One of the things we talk about is comparative advantage. Should we be building things in this country with higher cost labor when we can get better quality outside of the country at a lower rate? There's a question here on the current trend in supply chain is towards more what we'll call push or pull sourcing. This is an interesting one. Most U.S. ports supporting logistics networks are similar. What I mean is the Port of LA and Long Beach the same as Seattle, the same as New York, New Jersey, the same as Norfolk, the same as Savannah? If you ask me my opinion of that, I would say there's one big dance, and it's LA Long Beach. Does the global economy impact logistics networks? Think about it. If we invoke major trade restrictions or tariffs on imported steel and aluminum out of China, is that going to change the logistics of steel moving into this country? Give that some thought. One of my videos covers this one, the lowest cost of domestic transportation, and the next two you can look up. Okay, that takes care of the midterm.